Hello everyone! Welcome back to a critical review. I'm your host, Ariak Wolf. Today we have This War of Mine. This War of Mine was released on the 11th of November 2014, so around last year and a month ago. And the developer and publisher is 11-Bit Studios. 11-Bit Studios are prominently known for the Anomaly series and This War of Mine. So if you haven't heard of This War of Mine, you probably have not heard of 11-Bit Studios. So, This War of Mine is a wartime survival in a besieged city location, and this is a major point for me at least. It's available in 11 different languages, but I do believe English is the only one, and maybe Czech are the two audio voiced ones. So, developer support is relatively slow. There's about 2 or 3 updates each year, with 1 or 2 of those being big ones. And modding support is currently in the works. It's not too great right now, but it's getting there. Anyway, so on to the graphics. Now, this is probably the most irrelevant part, but it's definitely by no means the shortest part of this War of Mine review. That didn't make sense. Anyway, so the graphics are gritty and dark and very fitting for a besieged city theme, which I'm not going to spoil any of the intro of the story or anything. You'll hear it once, and that's about all. You'll need to hear it. That's about it there, but it is definitely very, very fitting for the location, which makes it a bit better. Now, there's a bit like sketch lines, I guess you could say, but they're essentially like a Venetian blind, if you can imagine that. That's where light does not shine, which is quite interesting, but it does add quite a bit to the game. And just, you have not explored this area yet, go explore there. And when you're not in an area and there's no light shining on it, but you've already been there, that will show you in like a hazy type form. Anyway, so simple animations, however advanced when compared to similar 2D titles. I don't really know what I meant by similar 2D titles, but essentially it's quite advanced. So compare it to, say, Mario or something, because it is a platformer. This War of Mine, kind of. I guess you could say it's that kind of side-scroller. That's the word I'm looking for. Anyway, there's somewhat blurred graphics in instances, such as with fighting and scavenging areas, which is alright, but is kinda odd. But it's overall excellent rendering, unique and refreshingly so. And that's about it for graphics. Summing it up, it's dark, it's depressing, and it's just really nice, and it's a relatively unique way of doing things. Now we go on to the sound. This is the shortest part of the review, but I will not disappoint. Yes, I will, but that's not the point. Okay, I'm good. No, okay. So, in regards to the sound, it is depressing, somber, and well done. Pretty much sums up the game. And that's the game in a nutshell. There you go, guys. End of review. No, I'm just joking. Okay, we haven't gotten on to the gameplay, or the final verdict, or the additional notes. But anyway, yeah, the soundtrack is really good. However, very minimalistic audio cues for various actions, such as when you're cooking, when you're going to collect things, when you're talking to people and stuff. There's very little audio in that regard, but the music in the background obviously drives the game along. There's also, I don't think, in its current state, any voice acting, which is a bit odd. But it also makes the game a lot more playable and accessible for more languages. Anyway, on to the gameplay. So, the scenario editor was recently updated, recently being, I do believe, early October. With more features and Steam Workshop integration, essentially being able to make your own story. So they are getting to that, slowly on that modding support that they want to get, 11-Bit Studios, and they're kind of only working on this War of Mine to my knowledge. I do not believe they're probably going to release another game soon because they're very, very quiet on that front. I've noticed Anomaly gets no updates, any of the Anomaly games currently, and this War of Mine is getting slowly developed, so I do believe they're working on at least one other project at the moment. Anyway, there is, in the current update, new character customization allows for a player to create more lifelike characters. So essentially it's create your own character, create your own story, in like a kind of sandbox type thing, which is very cool, and it's essentially an inbuilt modding thing because you can upload it straight to the workshop, which is really nice. You can essentially share your own story in a wartime setting with restricted parameters though. So I do believe they're working on that though. So characters have their own personality and keep journals that give a player access to deeper information on their current state, which is really good and really well done the way they've done it. You have to independently select. They're not going to tell you often. If you select the character, it will just give a list of what they're feeling, but you don't know their inner wants or needs, and you don't know exactly how they feel about other people, which can amazingly impact certain characters when other people die. So there's two phases of the game. Daytime, which is the construction of base, repairs, and general survival management, like eating, drinking, sleeping if you need to. If someone's been on guard, you need to put them to bed or something. Wound management, collecting, crafting, all that stuff is all in the daytime, which I do believe takes about 20 minutes if you don't speed it up. And then the nighttime section of the game is used for scavenging around the town and looking for resources, and sometimes interactions can occur between your chosen scavengers. So essentially there'll be a list where you can designate someone to scavenge, guard, or sleep on the floor, I think is also an option, which is not recommended. If you have the resources, build a bed. That's all I'm going to say. But it can occur between your chosen scavenger and other parties, which can often end in a moral dilemma, which I'm not going to explain at all. Anyway, stealth and gunplay is tense but rudimentary when compared to other titles. I certainly recommend going more stealth leaning than gunplay leaning because the gunplay is a bit odd, and the stealth is much easier to do, and also much more, just a lot more intense, because if you get in a gunfight, you're probably going to die. And it's a point-and-click style of interactivity, which is effective for the title, but the screen can get cluttered with buttons in restricted areas. Now, we also have here some additional notes. If you're somewhat expectant of updates, you'll have a hard time with this one. Very few bugs, and the fleshing out of the game seems to be 2 major updates a year. Or 3, as I said earlier on. But yes, essentially, if you're update hungry, if you feel like you like this game a lot, but you wanted more updates, I'm sorry, you're just gonna have to either cope with that or try and find a more updated game. No, more constantly updated game, I should say. Anyway, my final verdict. It's a great nitty-gritty and depressing game that is both hard to survive in and all in all more of an experience than a game. It's really good. Very much worth trying, and currently the Steam sale's on, so go for your life, guys. Not currently sure how much it is. I think maybe it's about $5 if you're lucky. It's normally $20, I think. I don't know. I should go have a look. It may be $3.50 or something. Anyway, I hope you guys all have a good Christmas. I know I will. And I'll see you all, probably in the new year. But until then, guys, see you all next time. And goodbye.